Welcome to newspaper analysis session for July 16. So we are going to cover various interesting topics today. Some of the topics of science and technology as well been added. So those topics that are appearing in the news articles, I have collected them, and I have also added the PYQs related to that topic. So today's discussion will be interesting. So we will revise some static things and some of the science and tech related things, and also some of the topics related to the governance. Okay, so something related to your court movie also. Okay, so we will discuss about that also. So interesting class. So whoever is watching the class for the first time, okay, just watch it. So you may not understand totally, but I am trying to go into the basics as much as possible. So what you can do is, after the class, see the relevant PDF documents. Okay, you can go through the previous documents and all. You can rewatch that particular content. Anyway, I'll try to cover as the things appear in the news again. So we'll try to cover. But somehow some of the articles are already finished. Like say, the Som Shukla, whoever has listed from the India side. Okay, the mission they haven't. Okay, in the International Space Station. Now the news is almost finished. So we will not be getting into that aspect again. So some of the articles which have been left out. Okay, which have been already covered. Okay, you can go through those things. Okay. If any doubts after the class, you can ask. So we'll start our discussion. So this is an article. So I'll try to take articles from Business Standard, Hindu, as well as the Indian Express. So from three areas, I'll try to see. I'll try to take up the important things. So in this way, all of your areas of governance, your areas of economy, science and technology, all the areas are getting covered. I'm not leaving any section, including the environment, everything. Okay, so especially from the Business Standard, your economy will get covered. So now what is this article is about? So they are saying Department of Telecommunications is likely to approve the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India's recommendation on satellite spectrum pricing without changes. So we have seen previously about the satellite communication. We have discussed some of the companies like Starlink, OneWeb from the India, Geo. They are going to launch satellite-based communication. We have discussed this thing. Okay. Types of the orbits, 3 levels of the orbits. Okay, how the satellites are placed. Right? We have seen this thing. So what is the need? Basically, you have the terrestrial communication. Your communication is through land-based and through space-based. Within the land, there is both wide and the wireless. It includes everything, your internet, your telephone services, your telephone, even that is also nothing but the movement of the data. And here through space. For this, you will place a satellites in the space. This is nothing but your satellite communication, SATCOM. Okay, this is the one Starlink that we are talking about, OneWeb. And also we have mentioned about the Geo, who is also going to launch this satellite-based communication. Here you have all those cellular communications. Okay, you will have the cellular towers. From there, you are receiving the signals. It will be both wide as well as a wireless. We have both the systems. But where are we going for this thing? Now, in order to provide communication into the remote areas, like say Andaman areas or in the hilly areas, in the areas somewhere in the remote areas, it is very difficult. You might have faced this problem, right? Sometimes network issues. You will not get the signals when you enter into the remote areas. For you, it is fine. But sometimes important emergency services might require always the communication. So it is not easy always to get the communication when you are in some very far places, remote places, we will say. Okay, so in that case, space communications is very important. Space will be able to look at you wherever you are. They will be able to cover the entire Earth surface. This thing we have seen. Just for your revision, for the new students, I am trying to add. So we have seen 3 types of the orbits in the space. Okay, if this is our Earth surface, you can place orbits at different levels. Lower Earth orbit, middle level orbit, and the higher Earth. LEO will say, MEO will say. So basically, these are the altitudes. Somewhere this would be around 1000 kilometers from the surface of the Earth, and this would be somewhere around up to 10,000 kilometers. and this would be around 36,000 kilometers in altitude from the surface of the earth. So depending upon our requirement, we will place satellites at different heights. So in order to get the clear images, this is called remote sensing for the movement of the troops, or to check any infiltration, or to check the resources. We will take photos, capturing of the photos. Okay, this is called the satellites that are placed here are called the remote sensing satellites. So they will give you the clear clarity. Images will be very clear, and also response will be faster since the satellites are placed at the lower level. Okay, and here you need more number of satellites. But usually when you place the satellite here, communication satellites, generally communication satellites are kept here, there will be delay of signals. So signal has to go like this and it has to come like this again. If you place the satellite here, the communication satellite, in order to make the communication complete, you need so many satellites, which is very difficult. For the remote sensing purpose, we place few satellites over the India. But if it is for the communication, we need so many number of satellites. So if I place it very at the higher altitudes, then I will be able to cover large area. So less number of satellites are enough. But again, the problem is here in this, when you place the satellites here, the signal will be delayed. So whatever the signal is, it has to go very higher in altitude. Again, it has to come back. There will be delays in the signal, changes in the signal. But generally, whatever the satellite communication that we are talking about, so now they are placing the satellite somewhere in between here. Network of satellites. Even the GPS satellites are placed here. So you will have around 25-30 satellites. Every time the satellite, few satellites will always be communicating with you. They will be taking the signals, they will be providing content for you, and they will be doing the rest of the things. So here it is like a kind of balance between the upper and the lower. Now what is the news? The news is these operators, these guys who have already got the license, they are complaining about the present license that are being offered to these SATCOMs. Why? There are two ways to offer the license. Now again, coming back to the basic, what is the license I am talking about? Now this everything, whatever the thing I am talking about, okay, it is the signals, they are nothing but your electromagnetic waves, radio waves, microwaves. These are the waves that are used for the communication. These waves are traveling in the space. While these waves are moving, we will also feed them some information. While they are moving, they will be able to carry our information. Okay, so now this spectrum is not unlimited. They will cause disturbances if all the information is sent through the same spectrum. Okay, you can imagine it this way. For suppose this is a band of frequencies. This limit of frequencies is called spectrum. Okay, various frequencies through which your electromagnetic waves travels. I am trying to simplify them as much as possible. So we use electromagnetic waves for the communication. They will travel in different frequencies. Now you cannot make them go in any way. You cannot feed all the things. In that way, everyone will transfer the same information. This will cause disturbances. So that such different disturbances do not happen, they will keep it for the sale. Okay, this frequency is for this one. This frequency is for this purpose. Those things has to be purchased, and they are very, very costly. So the purchase happens through either auction or through administrative mechanism. So far clear? So the spectrum will be kept for the purchase. The people, whoever is doing this communication, they will purchase this spectrum, okay, from the government, because this is a property that is owned by the government. They will pay money to the government and they will launch the services and they will recover money from the user charges. Suppose now you are paying money for the whatever the operator, Jio or any Vodafone services, when you are operating their services for the recharge and all, you are paying them. These guys have purchased that spectrum for the communication purposes from the government through the auction process. They have given money to the government and then they are able to provide you these services through auction. This is how the process happens. The Department of Telecommunication, they will finally give this allocation. Clear? But now, instead of going through the auction process, for the satellite communication, they are going through the administrative process. Through the discretion of the government, they are offering some kind of prices. Auctioning means, for suppose I said, okay, something is for sale. Okay, this mobile is for the sale. Okay, whoever is offering me higher prices, I'm selling it to that people. That is called the auction. Admin means, so you all came to me, and administrative mechanism means you all came to me and you are talking to me. Okay, see, I'll be able to sell this thing. I will be able to provide the services to the people. So you are just communicating with me. So I'm not going based on the price. Whoever is offering me highest price, I'm not doing it. If I offered based on the highest price, so for suppose I have given to this person on the highest price for the spectrum. You might have offered the lowest price. He might have offered highest price. Now, in order to recover that price, he will charge high on the people. So with this, services or the prices is increasing. Government does not want that thing. So if they go through the administrative mechanism, the prices will be at a lower level. But problem is there can be corruption. This is another issue. There would be the issue of the corruption. Prices would be low. Now, few people, the land-based telecom services, they got the spectrum through this mechanism, auction mechanism. Now, satellite communication, they are getting through this thing. So the price, obviously, for the satellite communication will be definitely lower. They will be at a disadvantage. This is what their complaint is. So we may not be able to offer the better prices. People will switch to the satellite communication because they will be able to offer the communication through lower pricing mechanisms. So this is the news. So are we clear? Clear? Very simplified format. This is given in the business standard. People will get confused if they do not have that clarity. See here. So they are finally, TRAI is a regulatory body. It is a regulatory body. It takes care of the telecom sector regulation. So final approval is done by the Department of Telecommunication. It has provided the recommendation. Okay, so now you need not go into this thing. So overall, they have gone into this administrative process. So finally, Digital Communication Commission is there, within this Department of Telecommunication. So it will approve it, and then final approval comes from the DOT. See here, telecos argue that this is unfair, lacking techno-economic analysis, and creates imbalances. Okay, see, they have paid highest cost. That's what this is. Telecoms acquire spectrum through expensive auctions, paying billions upfront cost. So now see, we have 4G, 5G, we have evolved. So for this 5G and all, you need completely different cellular towers. Your mobile phones are also manufactured in a different way. We need different infrastructure for total 4G and 5G. If you have to do the transition for the 6G, again you need complete overhaul of the infrastructure. So that's why government will not do such a level of transition. Already these telecom companies have spent billions on it, on the infrastructure, on the mobile devices and all. So the transition always should happen gradually. They have to recover their prices or else they will get into the losses. Ultimately consumer will suffer. Okay, now they are saying this thing. So we have paid that much. But now for the satellite communication, you are going through the administrative processes. This can cause losses to us. So they are our competitors. They are not a complementary. Telecom DOT is saying it is just a complementary service. No, they are saying they are the competitors. People will they will opt for this satellite based communication. They may stop this process. This is what the news is. So what is spectrum? Spectrum refers to radio frequency waves used for the wildland communication such as mobiles, internet, TV, broadcasting. It is a finite natural resources like airwaves divided into the various bands. These bands will be purchased. Now they will be allocating in the international level. Okay, there is I think ITU is there. So for every nation, some amount of band will be provided. Within that, they will again do the allocation for the defense for this thing, for the private sector this thing. This is how the allocation of the spectrum frequencies within the spectrum will be done. Clear? This is the basic aspect, the fundamental aspect. If without this clarity, you will not understand what the news is about. So they may ask us about this thing. How is the spectrum allocated? See, through auctions and through the administrative process. So final decision payment is done by the your department DOT. It is done for the 5 years. So basically, this is the process. Department of the Telecommunication under the Ministry of the Communication. Okay, see here, Digital Communication Commission reviews and approves within the DOT. Then it will finally the body that will approve is the DOT. That's it. That is the news. So we will see about the further process. So you also have the Telecommunications Act 2023 also. Okay, which talks about we will distribute the spectrum through auctions, but if required, we can also go through the administrative processes. Telecommunications Act 2023 also says this thing. Okay, so are we clear so far? Clear? So you have so what should I understand from here? So you need to understand there is a department of telecommunication. Okay, there is something called spectrum. Okay, we do the communication in two ways. Okay, through the land-based communication and the satellite-based communication, not airspace-based communication. Okay, there we'll place the satellites. For that, we need the people who are providing us that services. They need to purchase the spectrum, license. Okay, the particular frequency band. There they will get the license from the government, and there is a procedure for this. Finally, it will be approved under the DOT, and there is also Telecommunication Act, which also provides the legal authority for the administrative mechanism. Clear? This base is clear. Very important. Sometimes you will be able to answer using this base only. When you have that clarity, you will be in a position to do the intelligent guess in the UPSC prelims questions. Others will be doing randomly. Okay, so you will think rationally. Okay, this is what I have studied. Maybe this may not be possible. Okay? That is how we have to study. So yesterday I also have told you, skills is very important. Okay, so skill ministry, they are trying to come up with a new policy. They are trying to completely do the overhaul. I had told you the 1991 economic policy is considered as a kind of revolutionary policy. 1991's policy. Previously, we had a kind of, we will say before and after 1991 economic policy. We have initiated so many reforms. So the ministry is saying we will also initiate such a level of reforms in the skill sector. We are also coming up with a policy which is in line with the new education policy, which is in demand. That's what I was telling you. So we have not updated our curriculum. We are not providing the skills to the as per the requirement of the industries. There is no linkage between the academia and the industry. That's what we have discussed. So they are trying to come up with this thing. See, by 2035, 50% of the India labor force should be skilled, assessed and certified with at least 50% participation from women and the minority. It will be in sync with the new education policy. They will redefine skills, aligns with the UNESCO's international standards, emphasizing not just technical skill, but also transversal. Okay, like problem solving, communication and behavioral skills. That's what I told you. Some people they do not know how to communicate. See, for suppose you want to do the business. You do not know the communication. You will not be able to do. If you are introvert, those kind of things and all. If I don't know communication and all, nothing will work. If you are in the administration, means you are going to talk with the people. You have to learn. See, even I was also like, say, when I started my teaching thing, I was like, hey, I know teaching, I'll just teach the content. Okay, hardly 2-3 people got to know me. Okay, I was teaching it through one institution. Okay, so then people should know you. People should you should talk to the people. You should show your whatever the capabilities, whatever the skills you have for anything. Not about famous. It is about communication. Okay, so you should be able to interact. Only when you interact, when the people feel comfortable, they'll get to know you and they will involve with you in terms of the not just the business. It can be anything. If you are working in any organization, how you will feel comfortable to work with others when you know them, when you are interacting with them. Or else it will like, okay, you want to do just whatever the bare minimum is there and you want to escape. So that is important for the efficiency of any organization, for your personal growth. This can be also questioned in the GS4, significance of the communication. Okay, yesterday also I have discussed persuasion. Okay, there where you are rationally, emotionally appealing someone to do something. Again, the communication is very important. So that's for skilling that is being done. Okay, again, communication is not just about a few people. Okay, they don't even know if they have their bodies have grown, but they don't know how to communicate. That kind of common sense kind of things will not be there. Okay, so that should be also taught. Okay, so they will be given financial incentives, non-financial incentives. Okay, ITI, this is a kind of skilling program. Everything will be revamped. Money will be provided. Okay, see, now currently various ministries, various departments are providing the skill training, like say textile ministry is doing, power ministry is doing. Okay, so there is no harmony, there is no curriculum. What provides a job? Everyone is doing one thing, or sometimes they are opening this skill development program. They are taking the money, but nothing happening. Okay, there is, because how do you evaluate whether this thing is happening or not? So there should be from proper curriculum. So if it is BTech college and if it is if you are graduated out of this, so there is a guideline. So UGC or anything, University Grants Commission and universities, they are providing you the set of standards. Such standards are not there for the skill. Important. See, understand. You will miss out the point. So what are the problems in India's skilling sector? They may ask us this question. Okay, so there is no proper curriculum the way you have it for the education. And again, misuse of the funds, all those things, lack of proper way how we proceed, what happens with the certification, how you link it with the employment. These linkages are not happening. Okay, this is a major problem. So it is said that the minister will come up with a new policy. So this again you need to study with this concerning problem, youth high unemployment. So how many youth are entering into the job market? 10 million. Okay, so this, especially the youth, has highest amount of unemployment. Okay, the number of unemployment in the youth is very high. This is the survey, periodic labor force survey. This is the survey which is done to identify the unemployment. This is we need to this is, see here, reports recently, periodic labor force survey released by the National Statistical Organization. It highlights that concerning rise of unemployment for the second consecutive month. So the data is based on the current weekly status. Mentioned where unemployment is defined as not working even 1 hour in the past week. So this is based on the weekly status. You are in the last week, you are not even employed for the 1 hour. So then you are considered as unemployed as per the periodic labor force survey. So what are the reasons? That's what given by the labor ministry. Okay, so seasonal fluctuations, these things happens, high amount of temperature and all, heat waves and all, so people are staying indoors. This is what they have mentioned. Now that is not that important. Only point that is relevant for us is periodic labor force survey has highlighted rising unemployment status in the youth. That is the most important point, because we have studied various things, how the youth should be occupied, or else it will be wasted. Okay, that is the point. Now the static part, every current affairs will have the static part with the GS. Now here you need to understand how do we measure the unemployment. So see here, these are the 4 ways: usual principal status, usual principal and the subsidiary status, current weekly status, current daily status. As you move in this way, the numbers of the value, the number of unemployment can increase. Means the procedure becomes tough. Here you are just checking for the based on the major activity over the past 365 days. Classifies as labor force if worked or sought work for at least 7 months. So here it is for the 1 year criteria. Usual principal status. You need to understand 365 days. The ways how we check the unemployment. Usual principal status, usual principal and subsidiary status. More inclusive than that, includes subsidiary work. If you are at least 30 days, even if not the principal activity. Principal means main activity, subsidiary means something you are working for the side. So if you have worked for the subsidiary work also, so you can be considered as a kind of unemployment. This will lower the unemployment rates. Okay, here the unemployment rate would be higher. Now from here it is about the weekly status, and here it is about the daily status. In the weekly status, based on the past 7 days, the same thing which our article has mentioned. In the past 7 days, you are considered as employed if worked at least 1 hour on any day. In the last 7 days, I will come to you and I will ask if you have worked for 1 day. Okay, then I will consider as 1 hour. Okay. At least 1 hour on any day. Okay, then it is about the daily status. In the daily status, we will check. We will give the full day working day or half working days. So if the person is working for more than 4 hours, then we will consider as a kind of full working day. If it is less than 4 hours, we will consider as a half working day. So this is how some criteria to measure the status of unemployment in India. Just have a basic idea. Okay, this is from your static economy. Okay, so the ways through which we measure the unemployment, very important. Okay, principal status, principal and subsidiary status, weekly status and the daily status. Now for the conceptual clarity, this is the concept I have given you previously also to understand the unemployment. Total population somewhere 140 crores. Labor force. Labor force means, tell me, we have already discussed what is the labor force. Participation means. What is labor force? We study, I don't know, that percentage is correct. 55%, 58% is the labor force participation rate in India. What does it mean? Then if the people who are working is a labor force, then what is the workforce participation rate? Difference between labor force and workforce. What is labor force? Simply in simple understanding. The person who is seeking employment or working is labor force. A person who is either seeking employment or working, that is called the labor force. So let's say I am seeking the job and or the person is already working. So we both come under the labor force. Clear? I am the person who is willing to work. I have not got the job. I am willing to work. So I will be under the labor force participation. The person already has a work. So he also comes under the labor force. For suppose he is not even seeking for the work. Now he is not even in the labor force. See, that's why when the women's labor force participation rate is coming down, which is at 30%, that is a concern. They are not even seeking the work. Not getting the jobs is the second thing. First, the person should be thinking to do the job. So if the labor force participation rate is very low, which is for the woman is around the 30% and for the male it is 70+% and on average it is 55 to 58%. Have you understood the concept? Okay. So this is the concept. Now within this, if I check only the people who is employed, then there is a workforce participation. Gap is the unemployment. Right? You guys are not listening and asking again once again. You need to focus. See, labor force participation. See, there are total population. Let's assume that it is 100. This is a total population. Now from this, there are 60 people. 60 people. Within the 60 people, some are working. Let's say the working people are 50. And 10 people are seeking the work. Seeking the work, 10 people. But they have not got the job. Both of them, who is working and seeking the work, it is the labor force. So now within this, whoever is working, that 50 is the workforce. Gap 10 is the unemployment. Now I have to find the percentage. 10 by 60 into 100. This is the unemployment rate. So I will not check unemployment using this thing. I will check unemployment using this thing. Clear? This is the conceptual understanding. That is technical thing. The previous usual status, principal status. If you do not understand that thing, that is fine. But if you fail to understand this thing, problem. Clear? Who from where? Okay, this gap. They are neither seeking work or not doing anything.
Labor force is at 60 guys. Workforce.
Within this labor force, I told you, some people are working and some are not working.
Who are working, they are working.
Workforce. Those 40, we will talk to them why they don't want to be in LF here, what they are doing. We'll talk to them. What is the problem? We'll ask them. We'll find it out. So, rest of the things are clear? See, that's what I have given. See here, labor force person is 15 plus, okay, who are either employed or unemployed, working or actively seeking for the work. Employed people are the workforce. Unemployment, the formula I have given here, the same formula, unemployed by the labor force into 100. It comes around 3% for overall population. For the youth, it is at the 10%. That is the problem. The main youth is unemployed. 10% of the youth is unemployed. So 10% is very huge number, right? Out of 140 crore. So primarily the youth population is somewhere around 50% in the India. So from that 50%, the 10%, 7 crore, 8 crore people. And recently the unemployment levels are coming down. There is also saying that people, due to lack of employment, they are taking the self-employment. Even that is also reason why the unemployment is coming down. Self-employment means business. It need not be always a very big business. In India, even the chai shop will be considered as a kind of employed. Not every chai shop is successful. Even anything, whatever you do, now the people do not have the social security. Their incomes might not be high. So that is the problem that we have to understand. Clear? Everything is clear. So this is also one of the point. Now can you understand inequality? Yesterday we have discussed. So this thing is there. So why there is inequalities here? It's huge amount of unemployment. And within them self-employed, their salaries are very less. In the agriculture, the salaries are again very less compared to the service sector. So if your woman is not even participating, again inequality can lead to the inequality. So I hope you are developing the connections. These things will not happen overnight. If you just before the exam open the book and try to add the reasons for unemployment, reasons for inequality, it will not work. You should have that clarity. Okay. So this article I'm moving forward. India is trying to revise the free trade agreement with the ASEAN. We already have the free trade agreement. See here, we have the free trade. We know what is free trade agreement. Simply explain me what is FTA.
Without any taxes,
Relaxing tariffs is the right word. Without any means completely making zero is not the intention. We will try to minimize it. Okay, so that countries are exchanging the goods and services. Trade between those countries increase. So both the countries prosper. So both the countries will sit and discuss on these goods. We will reduce the taxes. Okay, so both the countries. So it should be win-win situation. So we have done it same way with the ASEAN. ASEAN is a group. It is not a country. It is a collective group of 10 countries. We'll come to that. Okay, so we have made a deal with these 10 countries, and then we have enhanced this free trade agreement in the future. Like say not in the future. I mean, in the 2010 we have made a deal. Later on we have progressed in the 2014 and 15. But this deal was not benefiting us. We are making losses from this deal. So we are making more imports, or the exports, whatever the countries are doing, they are getting benefited. We are not able to export more. So we are struggling. We are facing huge amount of current account deficit. So we are sitting and discussing with them so that this deal gets renegotiated. So where we are struggling, there we want to ask them to reduce imports further for our export products, or we may ask them, we will impose little more tax because we are struggling. In the same way, US also wants to set a deal with us because we have a huge trade surplus with the USA. But USA is taking a very tough stand. Initially, they have imposed very heavy taxes of 30-40%. Then they are sitting for the deal and negotiations with the different countries. So soon the deal will be finalized between India and USA also. Clear? Are you able to understand things that are happening? Okay. So we are going to negotiate the deal. So by October end, this is our target. It is happening since last 2 years. By October end, our target is to finish off this thing. See here, in the 2009 we have signed it. It came in force in 2010. We have expanded this thing for the services and investment in the 2014. So why are we going to this thing? So this is a persistent trade deficit of over $200 billion accumulated since 2010. So non-tariff barriers imposed by the ASEAN countries, huge things and all. Inverted duties. Understand this concept of inverted duties. So inverted duties means basically when we try to import any raw material or any machine. Okay, for suppose in order to manufacture this phone, I need some kind of chip. So when I import the chip, it is becoming costly for me. But if I import the mobile phone, it is becoming cheap. So this is called inverted duty structure. So we need to evaluate, we need to make sure that if we are importing the raw material, the chips required for manufacturing of the phone, it should be cheaper. So that they import the raw material and manufacture the phone at India. But what is happening currently? The raw material is costly, but finally on the phone, the duties are very less. So it is better for the people to directly import the phone rather than manufacturing it here. This is called inverted duty structure. This is the biggest problem. So they want to change in this. So clear, they will ask in the prelims, what is this inverted duty structure? Clear, on the raw material prices are high than on the final product. So they want to change this thing. And so we have not made any free trade agreement with the China. Okay, but what the China will do is they'll shift their items into these 10 countries and they will make sure that okay, it is coming from that country, Indonesia or Philippines. The Chinese products are coming through the Philippines or any other these countries like say Thailand or anything in a form of Thailand product, not a Chinese product. So different routing. This is called rule of origin is not being implemented. So from where it is originating, that has to be implemented. This is what is done by the China. So you understood two critical issues in the FTA. So you have understood what is FTA, what are the main two critical issues, inverted duty structure and the routing of the Chinese goods. Clear? Am I clear? So now see the ASEAN. These are the 10 countries that have provided here, Cambodia. So all these countries. So can you see here Laos is a landlocked. I want you to see sometimes UPSC also asks arrange these countries from west to east. They'll ask their capitals. Arrange their capitals from west to east. Like this they can ask. Okay. So see here, Malaysia, it also extends to this part also. Indonesia, here, all these islands are the Indonesia. Okay, and then if you move in this way, here you have the Papua New Guinea. Okay, this is the Philippines, Brunei. Okay, Brunei is some part here and here it will be there. So these are the 10 countries. Go through those things again and again. Okay, you need to have the clarity of this mapping section. So we have also seen this thing. What is that major important strait that we study about here? Malacca Strait, then Sunda Strait. All these straits are important here. Okay, so go through that thing. Here you have this South China Sea. Okay, that is also a problematic thing. China claims entire South China Sea as its own. Okay, so that's why we are talking about Indo-Pacific area security. So that's why we formed that grouping. What is that grouping? The 4 members grouping. Quad grouping. Okay, who are the countries?
Japan, USA, India,
Australia. Okay, there is a formal or informal? Informal grouping. There is no written declaration, right? So this is for maritime security, this peace and security in the Indo-Pacific region. Now see, the overall trade deficit of the India has reduced. Why? The reason is, see, we always have we know this thing. See here, India's balance of payment components. See, it consists of current account and the capital account. Within this current account, you have the trade balance, that means goods, and you also have the invisibles. See, within the current account, you have the trade of goods and the services. Okay, plus incomes plus transfers. And then you also have the capital account. Capital account means foreign investment, foreign direct investment, foreign portfolio investment, any kind of external commercial borrowings, NRI deposits, or any kind of capital inflow. So you have 2 things in your BOP, current account and the capital account. This is a investment, foreign investment, FDI, FII, all these things. So usually you will have the current account deficit, but the investments or the borrowings we do from the foreign country, this will balance it, capital account deficit. And within the current account deficit, you always have this goods. There will always the deficit in the goods. Trade deficit will be there. But you always have the surplus in the services. So it tries to, the services sector will balance out you have the deficit in the goods. And overall, we have huge forex reserves. How many $1 billion of forex reserves we have? I told you, we have accumulated 650, 700. At least you have the idea, right? So how are we accumulating those assets? So we are trading with the foreign country. So we will trade these goods. This is called the current account. So I'm exporting pen there or importing their pen. So whatever the gap is there, if I get the negative, that will be written. So I'm exporting services like IT services, health services, education services. Always we are the net service exporter. We are the good in the services. So on the services, we get the more dollars. Here, trade the less amount of dollars because we import more. Because we do not have the oil and natural gases with us. We import 60-70% of the oil and natural gases. There a lot of money will go. And we are also importing a lot of items from the China. We have discussed for the raw material, rare earth materials, API. What is API? These are the raw materials for the pharmaceutical products. So that's why we are always having the trade deficit, which is matched by the service sector. And at the same time, both of them are matched by the capital account, the investment, foreign direct investment, external commercial borrowings. So always we have the surplus of the dollars, which is taken in the BOP. Okay, not the forex reserves. Clear? So now we are talking about this thing because we have increased our service export, and overall our total exports is somewhere around $850 billion. Again, this value also remember. Our target is to make it exports to the $2 trillion. Currently, it is at the $850 billion. So we need to remember some facts. That's the reason I have picked up this thing. See, currently we have the export worth of $850 billion, and who are our major export destinations? USA, important thing. USA, UAE, and then Netherlands, China is there. Import sources, see, China is number 1, and then UAE, and then Russia. Okay, so this is a part to see here. Total exports $825 billion, exceeding the WTO export. So what things we export? Electronic items, marine products. Imports. Okay, these things we import: silver, chemical materials, raw waste, cottons, and all. Okay, so these are the things that you need to remember. So this is in the news because overall it has been narrowed because service exports have been increased. So overall the CAD has narrowed.
One concept, crude oil. Crude oil.
We consider, okay, it is not included here. It will be there. Why not? Yes, it will be there. So the deficit export minus import narrowed due to the robust services, which offsets the slower merchandise growth. So when I say merchandise, it is talking about the goods. So clear that framework you need to have the clarity. Okay, within the BOP. So here you have this is the recording the transactions of that particular year, both ingoing and the incoming and the outgoing. So you have the current account and you have the capital account. Within this current account, you have goods, which is called as merchandise, and then you have the services. Not just these two things, you also have the returns of our NRIs. Okay, those things, additional parts. Okay, net income receipts, those parts are also included here. Invisibles, we call it as invisible. Incomes, transfers. For suppose I have invested in any foreign company, I will be getting dividends. So those things. For suppose our people are working in the foreign country, they are sending back money, remittances, that is called as remittances. India is the first receiver of the remittances. You need to remember that thing. Okay, who is the country holding highest amount of dollars?
China.
Good, very good. Okay. Remittances, India is the number one. So this is the article they are talking about. Now see here. Okay, try to answer this thing. Which of the following group of items is not included in the India's forex reserves? Okay. ఇక్కడ కనబడట్లేదుగా. Okay, let me do something on the next class. Okay, chalo, we will so we'll see something. See, basically we have done this forex reserves, right? So your forex reserves basically accumulation of the foreign assets. Primarily it has the dollar in it. Okay, so basically the point I want to communicate here is all those loans, anything we receive from the world banks, all those things will come in the capital account. So basically they are trying to confuse you. Forex reserves does not have this thing. So forex reserves, foreign currency assets, gold holdings of the RBIs and SGRs. This is what you have in your forex, the $650 which we are saying $2 billion. Okay. So here, okay, the foreign currency asset they have asked recently, which is the major foreign currency asset we are holding? You can guess. Dollars. This was the question in the 2022 or 3. This is some again that really they are asking this question. Okay, the UPSC will ask some very basic questions. So what is this balance of payment? You can say, try answer this. They are asking what is this balance of payment of a country? It is a systematic record of what? Record of what they are asking. A or B? How come B? Clear, we have discussed. So, like he said, people might get confused between the C also. Government of one country to the other. It is not just the government. I am also exporting. Okay, it is everything, a broad account. So, everything that is export and import is happening. I am maintaining the balance sheet. Okay, so that is what it is there in the here. Try to answer this thing with reference. I have tried to give the space also, but still, okay, I do it. So even for this, I have given a space with reference to balance of the payment. Now they are asking about the current account. What are the things that are there in the current account? Try to answer. So what are the things you can eliminate that you think? So they are asking about the current account. So what? First one, what will you eliminate?
The second option is
Second option.
ఫస్ట్ ఎలిమినేట్ చేసేయాలా?
Yes.
Fourth.
Foreign assets ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి దాన్ని
It is asking about the current account. One and three. Easy answer. So foreign assets and the special drawing rates, these are the components of, not the capital account, what recently, what one, the accumulation one. Forex. This is where we have mentioned the foreign assets. This is the part that we have mentioned. See here. They have mentioned that as an option. So current account, this is the part. Trade balances, invisibles. Okay, this is what current account is. Can you understand the simple questions they are asking? Just they have picked up the component they are asking. Now they are trying to make it little difficult, right? So fine. So revise it again. Revise these things again, so you will feel really confident. NVIDIA resumes chips sale to the China. Recently, I told you through CHIPS Act, USA CHIPS Act, they don't want AI to grow. Okay, they want China to become a competitor to USA. Okay, see these chips and all, AI is new revolution. It is like a new nuclear technology. So they have kept the restrictions on sale of these chips to the China. Even on India, it is there. They have totally stopped their sales. Now they have again, USA has allowed it. Okay, some kind of thought of relationship is happening between the China and USA. So you need to just have that clarity. Now very important topic. See here, super earth. So they will give some in the news, TOI 1846b in the news. What is this? It is basically a kind of super earth. See, this is a NASA's test. It is a satellites. They are placed in the space. They are checking earth-like planets, exoplanets. They want to see if there are similar to earth any kind of planet. So earth is revolving around moon. Okay, sun. Okay, earth is revolving around sun. In the same way, other satellites also, they will be having their own star and they will be revolving around that star. So beyond our solar system, are there any earth-like planets? Is there any system? Solar is a scientific name of our sun. Is there any kind of star? And similar to the earth, is there any habitability? So that we can go and destroy that earth also. Okay, that's what we are trying to check. So this is that survey. NASA's test survey launched in 2018 to find a earth-like planet. Okay, so this is what they have found recently. TOI 1846b, earth like nearly twice the earth, and they have also found there is a possibility of water. Beneath our crust, there is a water. Okay, oceanic crust is there. So in the same way, there is also good amount of water, but they have ignored the life possibility because the temperatures are very high. It is very close to its own star, the red dwarf star that is there. It is revolving very close to that star. Okay, so because of this thing, temperatures are very high, so there is no possibility of such thing. Now, this was a question asked in 2015. The term Goldilocks zone is seen in the news. Now, see here, within these planets, it's not necessary that there can be a life, but sometimes there are certain conditions that can match, like happen in the earth, and there can be the possibility of the lives also. Those zones are called the Goldilocks zones, where the conditions are perfectly matching within those exoplanets or within our solar system. If the situations are very right, like say you are getting proper temperature, proper sunlight, you have the good amount of water, then there can be possibility of life, and those zones are called Goldilocks zones. Very important concept. Okay. Now again, very important concept. Okay, I don't think I will be able to finish, so I'll try. We will see how much I'll finish. Okay, this was given in your editorial section, some science section. So black hole mergers. A black hole merger occurs when two black holes merge. Okay, so they have found recently in the news. Okay, on July 10th they have announced, international team has announced two massive black holes merger named GW 231123. I don't know what is the logic behind mentioning those names. So maybe in the news they will give you the same way in the UPSC prelims. They will give you GW 231123. What is this in the news? Okay, so yesterday also I told you Tara, Sitara or something. Their grains names I mentioned. Okay. So in this way, they will ask you, okay, or if they want to ask factual things, they will ask you this way. If they want to test your conceptual knowledge, they will ask you, what is the black hole? Okay, so your black hole looks something like this. See, this is your black hole. So singularity, can you see here? Singularity means your origin of the universe started from this singularity. Okay, you might have studied in the concepts of NCRT. Initially, everything, like say I have packed all of you and entire universe in a small ball. That is called the singularity. This got burst. Okay, blast has happened, which we'll call as a Big Bang explosion. And from there, materials got released, and over a period of time, temperatures came down, consolidation, cooling has happened, accretion of materials has happened, and over a period of time, planets, everything, and wherever the conditions were good, life has happened. In the same, and in between there will be a star. Around those things, planet will revolve. But the star do not exist for unlimited amount of time. Star, we are receiving the sunlight primarily because of the heat that is being released. I told you, within the star, nuclear fusion process is going on. Nuclear fusion is a process that is going on in the star, where two hydrogen elements come together. They fuse and become the helium. And in this process, huge amount of energy is released. And this will be balancing the gravitational force. So within the star, two forces are always fighting. Gravitational force. It is trying to suck everything into the center. Higher the mass, higher will be the gravitational force. So everything is trying to pull towards the center, and the star is trying to fight it through the nuclear fusion process, the heat that is being released. So I can say this thing. So I am giving you briefly. Some other day we will again try to discuss. See, this is the star. So the star is going through this process. Okay, the two forces. One is gravitational force, which is trying to pull everything towards the center. Okay, any body, any mass, even the Earth's surface has a gravitational force, which is trying to pull everything, suck everything towards the center. On the other hand, you have the pulling out forces, where the hydrogen, now see, everything is pulled towards the center. So hydrogen, which is present here, that is getting dragged towards the center. So much of the force, because of this hydrogen being pulled towards another hydrogen, fusion is happening. Nuclear fusion process. In this process, nuclear fusion, energy is released. So again, expansion happens. Pulling, expansion, pulling, expansion. So this process will continue as long as there is fuel, hydrogen. Okay. Once this is over, implosion. Explosion means blast. Implosion happen. Everything is pushed towards sucked towards the center, and finally again singularity. So universe is a cycle. From singularity to universe, again star will explode and forms a singularity. And around that, you will have immense gravitational field. Because of the gravitational only, implosion has happened, and anything tries to enter it here, it will not come back. The Interstellar movie. Okay. So there they will show you. Okay, somehow I don't know how, I still did not understand how he enters into the black hole and came out. I did not understand. Okay, in the movie they show he has fallen into the black hole and somehow he came out, and somehow through wormholes and all he's communicating. I still did not understand. So basically the black hole singularity will be formed, and whatever the boundary of the black hole is event horizon, and anything that enters in this black hole will not come out, light or anything, because of the immense gravitation. When this thing happens, huge amount of radiations released in the space, microwave radiations and also different waves called gravitational waves. Gravitational waves means, for suppose you have hit a stone on the water, ripple will be generated on the water. In the same way, on the space also, ripples will be generated. It's like fabric, just like a cloth, there can be ripples. On the space also there can be ripples when such kind of explosion happens. Detecting these gravitational waves will give us understanding about the universe, how this universe has originated and all. So in order to detect these gravitational waves, we also have various laboratories. Okay, those laboratories are also given in this article. Okay, see here, this is the gravitation, this is the black hole. See here, this is the singularity, and here you have the this boundary is called as event horizon, and nearby space is called the ergosphere. This is a black hole. Okay, so I have given you this thing. So this article has come in between. Okay, see here. A black hole is a region in the space-time where gravity is so intense that nothing, not even a light, can escape. It forms from the collapse of the massive star after a supernova explosion. That's what I told you. So not every star. Does our sun forms a black hole in the future when the energy is... No, the size of the star should be very high. See here, I told you that. The star, see here, initially protostar, then main sequence star. Currently our sun is in the main sequence star, where the fusion is happening. Then after that, red giant star will happen, and finally there is no fuel and star will collapse. In the end stages, if the size is very less, it will form the white dwarf star. If the size is medium, they will fall the neutron star. If the size is very huge, black hole. This is a geography topic. I am not getting into very deep. I am just giving you the base that is required. In the geography static class, I will take one class itself to explain these things. Okay, so I am giving you the brief, at least the base idea should be there. Okay. So you see here in this data itself, they are saying, see here, these are the observatories, LIGO, Virgo, Kagra. They are the observatories of the gravitational waves. Okay, so LIGO, Virgo, these things very important. Kagra. Okay, so these are the observatory waves of your gravitational waves. See, what are the gravitational waves? These are the ripples in the space-time. Ripples in the space-time caused by the massive objects. Now, why are we discussing this thing? Two black holes have merged and gravitational waves have been released, and those gravitational waves are captured by this LIGO, Kagra and all. Okay, so that's the reason it becomes very important. Now see how the questions have been asked. See, recently scientists have observed great merger of the giant black holes. This was asked in 2019 or something. What is the significance of this observation? Tell me. Second, direct, easy question. So whenever any major event happens in the space, gravitational waves are released. Okay. So it is a concept associated with the black hole. It is nothing not related to the question. Okay. Higgs boson particles, yes, something related to the thing, but not it is related to the black hole. Okay. So wormhole not related, just they want to confuse you. See, ELISA, it is also to detect the gravitational waves. Okay, because time is up, so that's why. Try to answer this thing: event horizon, singularity, string theory, and standard model, sometimes seen in the news in the context of. Easy question, you should be able to answer. Apply your knowledge. A or C? D? Yeah, so understand the concept. Think broad. Yeah, how it is related to the life and all, nothing. Okay. So go through the other article. Okay. So that's all for today. Okay. Now you can go through the other article, just basic one. So important things I have discussed. Thank you.